Hey there, so I'm back from the trip to New Mexico, which was the inaugural trip in the Subaru Rebuild, and I realized when I was putting the video together that I didn't really slow down and do an in-depth look at some of the new things, the new aspects of the build. So I'm going to do that now really quick and just show you some of the things that I'm using as far as storage goes, and show you some of the more detailed aspects of the new rebuild. So this is pretty much what it looks like all put together without the stuff that I would ordinarily pack, like my power bank I don't ordinarily leave in here. The food and the first aid kit I only put in here when I'm going somewhere. So those things are missing, but I'm just going to go through and kind of show you the setup. This is my bed, and this is the Milliard folding mattress that I was telling you about in the first video, rebuild video. It does fold. It has 3 sections, and it folds upward on the bottom end, which is really nice given that the spare tire hatch pulls up here, so the mattress actually folds up with it, which is makes it really easy. I wish that the top part also folded up, but unfortunately it actually folds in, and so this mattress was meant to fold into 3s into like one big square to store. So this top section actually folds under, but it's such a thin mattress. This is a 3-inch mattress that it's pretty easy to lift up anyway when I lift up this base, and I'll show you that here in a second. So for the inaugural trip, I actually put my 2-burner Coleman stove on top of this, and I am pretty sure it's not going to stay there because it rattles like crazy. Even though I have it bungeed down pretty well, the aluminum in it just rattles like crazy when I'm driving. So that may end up getting put in the top cargo box or the stowaway cargo box. Even though this is technically my kitchen cart, my chuck box, I think the stove is going to have to at least travel somewhere else. Storing the propane here actually worked pretty well. The 2 1-pound canisters are actually bungeed together, and then it's bungeed to this basket as well. This is the lock that we put on here to keep the chuck box in place while I'm driving. It works really well. You just pull this out when you want to unlock it, and then put it back in when you want to lock it. So if I wanted to move it forward, say I had a flat tire and I need to put the spare on, I need to access the spare tire that's under here. What I would do is, first of all, I would need to come up here and move the dog's bed. So the dogs just have a small mattress right here, and I can just flip that over on top of mine temporarily. Then I would unlock this and just push this forward. And there are locks on the wheels, so if I needed to lock the wheels so that it would stay in place, I can. But I'll show you what we did on the floor here, on the base here. We screwed down some foam pieces here to basically let the wheels kind of slide along. And there's another one down here. And then these are cedar blocks that are basically acting as stopper blocks so that the cart doesn't keep rolling. Some of my carpet tiles are coming up just a little bit here. I haven't looked at these since the trip, and these were under the cart the whole time, but it's not actually coming up that bad. It looks pretty good, really. I'm pretty impressed with them still. So once the cart is pushed forward, then I can access the spare tire hatch, and the hatch is where my tools are stored as well. And what I've done is I've put one of these carabiner straps. They're called Keeper carabiner straps from Home Depot. And basically I've just put the carabiner on this side right here. And then, as you can see, there's a bolt snap on the other end. So I can just lift this tire hatch up. There's a metal hook that's built into the Forester up here, and so I've just put a carabiner on that, and then this snap bolt from the keeper strap can just hook onto that carabiner, and that is what holds up the tire hatch. So it's a lot easier to access my spare tire than it was before. So what we did is we put these metal braces along the side, each side, and across the bottom here, so that the tire hatch has some sort of support when it's closed, since, you know, obviously we're going to be on it. And then additionally, we've added this metal support beam down the center of the tire hatch door. In a real world scenario, if I did have a flat tire and I needed to access the spare and had to do all of this, the dog's mattress would likely either go in the front passenger seat or across the front 2 seats or on top of the kitchen cart, because obviously the dogs would be in here, and so the dogs would be right up here. So then to close the door, I would just unclip the snap hook and lower it all down. And then I just lay the keeper strap right across there. Then we can reach up here and grab the cart and just roll it back. And lock it back into place here. And put the dog's bed back. And we're good to go. These keeper straps have Velcro on them, so in this case I just wrapped it around the grab handles up here and have the base platform connected to the carabiner and held up that way. Originally I had a metal bar that propped up the base, stood in the floorboard and propped up the base from underneath, and I found that that just got in the way, so I very quickly did away with that and switched to this method. And down here you'll notice that it is pretty dark down here, so I have these magnetic rechargeable LED lights that really brighten things up. There's one on the other side as well. So here on the passenger side, I have my solar panel to charge my power bank when I'm in a location for a few days, and have that means have the sun and the ability to charge that way. This is a really bulky solar panel, and eventually I would like to upgrade it to a more flexible one. I wasn't originally planning for this to be here. It's just the only place it would fit. So eventually this is going to be gone, and my original plan was I had bought a long, it was meant to go under a Ford pickup back seat, but it's a long zippered bag that I had originally planned to put here, and it fits great, and it's a way to store things that I can zip it closed and it won't get dog hair or anything else in it. So eventually I would like to be able to use that. This is from that bag. It's just one little piece that you can store things in the zippered pockets on both sides. So down here in the floorboard on the passenger side, I have my Scepter 5-gallon water container, and then over here I'm gonna just use my magnetic light for a second. Once I had the 5-gallon containers in here, because I knew I wanted to use those Scepter containers because you can wrench them down, they don't leak, they have a spigot you can use with them, and they're very high quality and last a long time. So I really liked those containers and knew that I wanted to use one on each side. So once I got these in here, I measured the distance that was remaining back here. It took me a long time to find something, but eventually I settled on a clear plastic narrow refrigerator bin, storage bin. So these are intended to be used in the refrigerator, and it just happened to work perfectly for this space. So I don't know how long they'll last because I feel like they're pretty fragile, and with the 5-gallon containers pushing up against them, and when I take them out to refill them and use them and then put them back, I feel like that eventually is probably going to crack. But so far so good, And inside that, on this side, I have the Scepter water container wrench and the spigot that goes with it. And that's all I have in there for now. So then to lower this, we just unclip it here and lower it back down. Just like that. Alright, well, it's a new day, and the last time I attempted to video this, it was too dark. It got too dark, so it's early in the day. I have an art festival that I have to set up for later, but I'm going to show you real quick as I take things out so that I have room to put my art display panels in here. I'm going to show you the setup. On the driver's side, I've got this cargo net that was designed to go across the bed, the tailgate of a pickup truck. Just got it connected to a carabiner up here on my headrest. Connects pretty quickly, just like that. Disconnect it. And then what I do when I'm at a location and I'm getting in and out this side is I swing it out around here and I just clip it right there. And then if I need to use the step that goes there to get up into my cargo box, then I just clip it back here. And then my step is stored underneath the base platform in a little pocket, side pocket of my zipper bag down here. And I can take it out and flip it on just like that. This thing works pretty well, by the way. It had mixed reviews on Amazon, but I have found it to be pretty useful. Down here I keep Jaffe's muzzle in case we are at a location where he needs it, because Jaffe is dog reactive. And then the treat bag. And then down here we have an extra leash. And then I also have an extra prong collar down here and doggy bags down there as well. I've got my 5-gallon Scepter water container down here. And in this mesh thing, I have lights and my wintertime, nighttime stuff like my gloves and my hat that I wear to help keep warm at night. This also ends up being where I keep the dog's leashes when we're at a location and we get in the car for the night. I usually just stuff the leashes in here, and then they're easy to access first thing in the morning. I'll show you this cargo net goes all the way down here, and then I have it connected to just a little connector point down here. And then as you can see, I have another Velcro keeper strap hanging on the handle on this side. I have this cargo net that goes under the moonroof. And I have the dog's fleece jackets up here, and then I stored my rain jacket and my puffy jacket up here as well. This cargo pocket actually has separate individual little sections on the bottom. There's 2 up here at the front, and then there's one big one up here at the front that's basically the size of the whole cargo net. I haven't really used that one as much because I don't want to put so much up here that it sags, because I still would like to keep the headroom that I gained in this rebuild. One thing that's cool about this particular cargo net compared to others that I've seen like it has Velcro straps that you can actually use to tighten it. So if you did stuff it full of things and you wanted to pull it up a little higher if it started to sag, you could probably achieve that somewhat anyway with these straps, just tightening it up. And there are 3 of them. So you can see mine are kind of loose actually, so I'll just go ahead and tighten them. But I do think that helps quite a bit. You can actually see, let me get back, you can see how after I tightened them, I tightened the middle one a little bit tighter than the other ones, but I've got more weight on this side, so it still sags a bit. Let's see if I can tighten that one up a bit more even. There we go. So you can see that it does help keep the net up a bit. And then of course the straps that go to the bars over here, the handles, can be adjusted as well. And I've tied a little knot in mine so that they don't come loose. I also have this center console cargo net. I really got into the cargo nets, I guess, but I'm kind of digging it because when I'm laying here at night, I can stick my, whoops, there's two pockets in here. There's a front one, and I've got some CDs in there. In this back pocket, I have a book, and I keep some other stuff in there too when I'm actually out on the road. There's a little LED light bulb in there, but you can see that this cargo net does not extend beyond the front seats. It's even with them, so it does not get in the way of the base platform lifting. I didn't show you this on the other side, but on both sides in the pocket here in the door, I keep my screens for the back doors. So in the summertime, I can put a screen over the window and roll the window down and have air flow throughout the night. So now, as you can see, this is the zipper bag that I intended to go all the way across here before I discovered that I had to put my solar panel here because it wouldn't go anywhere else. But this actually extends the full length of this area, this space. And you can see that the other side of it is scrunched up here. But I have an extra leash in here, and this is where I had intended to store my clothes, to pack my clothes, because I could zip them up and they wouldn't get dirt and dog hair all over them. This bag has mesh side pockets, and when it's unfolded all the way, the mesh pockets go all the way across. So that's what would be in the front area here. I told you I had another LED magnetic light on this side. Right here is that, and it works pretty well to light up the space underneath the base. That's the one that I showed from the other side. This thing is the top pocket of the other side of this zipper bag. This top lid actually will detach, and you can use it as separate storage. So that's what I did with the other side since I'm not using it right now. I just have it laying up here. There's nothing in it right now, but there could be eventually. In that bin, I have my jump starter kit and my 12-volt air compressor. And it looks like that's it for now. There is a metal grid here that comes down behind the front seat. These are the sides of a metal grid dog barrier that I had. There was one big piece and then two smaller pieces to put on the sides. Well, the two smaller pieces actually fit the width of my seats perfectly. So I've got those sitting just behind the front seats to prevent stuff from rolling under the front seats. My front area, actually, I try to keep pretty clear in case I'm giving someone a ride. All of this is pretty easy to just move and set in the back or take out completely, whatever. I did buy one of these stupid car trays, which is exactly what they're called. I did originally find it kind of stupid and stupidly overpriced. However, I have also found it somewhat useful, so I guess I can't complain too much. It has a Velcro loop back here that you're supposed to put the seatbelt through and then fasten the seatbelt. I have found that that does absolutely nothing, so I don't use that. And I set it up against the back seat, and it does a pretty decent job of staying put. The newer ones that they make have a little bar that you tuck down into your seat. I can't use that either because my seat covers block that. So for now, I just have the basic tray, and it just sits here. And I have the cup holder, which is enormous. It slides into the hole right there. There are two holes, and they do make a mug holder, which eventually I will probably get because I do use my mug in the car sometimes that has a handle. So the mug holder has slits in it where you can slide the handle down into it. From what I've heard, it is just as enormous as the cup holder. These things are huge. A regular water bottle jiggles around in it. But what I did find it useful for is I have a vase of flowers that I put on my desk in my booth display, and I found that vase fits perfectly in here so that I can transport my vase of flowers without them falling over. I finally got a trash. I had been using the side compartments of the door. So I do have a trash bag now, and it just clips around my gear shifter here, and it's okay. Works well enough, I guess. I have this in here because in my previous build, it actually went on the headrest bars, and I could watch when I had an iPad, I could stick my iPad in it and watch movies or work on the iPad in the evenings. But now I've sold my iPad and all I have is my iPhone, and this doesn't work quite as well for that, but it's in here because I thought I would find a use for it. I just haven't yet. And then I have this 750 watt converter. I run my refrigerator off of this. I don't use the refrigerator all that often. In the summer months when it's really, really, really hot here, I'll use it to keep my drinks cold. And if I'm bringing eggs or something like that for meals, then I'll bring it. Here's a look at this center console cargo net from the front. This front pocket kind of just sits on the center console when you put stuff in it. I could push it back, but then it would be in the way of the base platform pulling up. So I just keep it here. I've got a thing of CDs in there, a couple of lights that I accidentally just turned on, and my dog spray, pepper spray. So that's that. And now I've got to take it all out because I have an art festival this weekend and I need to load up my art booth display.